Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. I've just had breakfast, so I know that there's still quite a few people over there noshing down on the bacon and eggs. Last night, I thought the celebration was fantastic. I've never seen a performance artist before doing the Freddie Mercury thing. That was really cool. The one thing I was worried about, actually, was the chap who was doing the circle, going round and round. How he did not crush his fingers, I have no idea. So I'm going to be kicking things off with some predictions for next year. So my predictions for 2020, and then we'll go straight into Craig Leclerc of Forrester, who's going to be doing the keynote on the future of work, or making work work. And I don't know about you, but I think these little simple videos really encapsulate the secret sauce of the difference between us as an organization and perhaps some of our competitors, is that if you think about how Airbnb started, it was just creepy. You know, who on earth wanted to go and live in someone else's house or lend their house out to strangers? But actually, the advertising company, Ogilvy, did some fantastic work taking away the fear of Airbnb. And so we are doing the same. In fact, we're using Ogilvy. So these little robots, I don't know, I'd be delighted for your feedback, whether you think the little robots are actually a good thing. Because for years, we've been talking about robotic process automation, and all the pictures are of Terminator and, you know, HAL 9000 for those old enough to remember 2001: A Space Odyssey. So today, we're going to be continuing with the conversation. So let's start with my predictions for next year. Number one, rather. Okay, so I think there will be a downturn. I think there will be a global economic downturn of economic activity. That is a good thing for RPA and automation and AI. Why? It's because in order, as you heard yesterday, in order to remain agile, in order to remain disruptive, as the Ubers and as the Amazons that you heard yesterday were talking about, you need to be able to move fast. And it's much, much faster to move and change your business as a result of using automation than it is by using people. And particularly if you combine the two, which is exactly what we were talking about yesterday. So that agility that you'll need in an economic downturn will drive a positive impact on you. But you need to figure out how to inculcate automation and AI in your business from today in order to be able to adapt to tomorrow. So, is the house going to burn down? No, it's not, but you need to be able to adapt quickly. Next one. This was a quote, actually, from David Hunter. I don't know if people went to the Ericsson track yesterday. David Hunter, he and I had a chat in Oslo. We were doing an event there. And this is the first time he talked about this. So you think about YouTube as a container. YouTube is a platform that contains content, videos. Automation, or RPA, you can think of as a platform, and we heard from Param yesterday and the team about how RPA and automation is becoming the platform for business. You can think about automation becoming the platform for your business operations. So think about how UiPath and our competitors can be included into your business and contained within every activity. And that's all about scaling, which is what we've been covering. Next one. This is from Chet Chambers. So Chet is our evangelist, so does the job that I do in America. Ex-HP, he was our customer, and he built automations top-down and bottom-up at HP. Did a phenomenal job. He's now thought about the way that you build automations. And he's thought about it that in every case, when you're starting on your automation journey, you think your circumstances are unique. You think that your circumstances and the processes that you are looking to automate are different from everyone else's. And in a lot of cases, they are because of the bespoke nature of the technologies that you're trying to glue together. So you can think of them as snowflakes, because every snowflake is unique. But after a while, when you start to containerize them, as you start to build up your center of excellence, your robotic operations center, and you combine these into replicable, repeatable automations and processes, you're turning those snowflakes into snowballs. And the great thing about snowballs is that they are all the same. So the replicability of automation, starting from the unique to the replicable, is what I'm expecting to see next year. Next one. The young. Now, there are quite a few young in the room, which is great. The young are not prepared to put up with the shit that we've put up with over the last 30 years. They just won't. If you think about the way that people, I mentioned yesterday about this process sediment. I did an interview on theCUBE with Kathy Tornborn from Gartner. And we were talking about this. So there's a guy called Ian Barkin, who's the head of strategy for Symphony Ventures, who've been acquired by Sykes. He's described the way that organizations build up your layers of process activity as being like sedimentary rock, built up over millions and millions of years. People coming in from students and school leavers come into your business going, why the hell are you doing it this way? It makes much more sense to use automation. And interestingly, I'm doing a lot of work at the moment with the venture capital and private equity organizations. Why? It's because they've recognized that it's much faster, cheaper, easier to scale their portfolio companies using automation than it is to hire a whole load of people. Now, that's interesting. If you add in the fact that, and you'll hear from this from Tom Clancy later about our academic alliance, you factor in the fact that students in their millions are going to be trained on UiPath. When they come into your business, they'll expect to be able to do that. So they won't put up the shit. Next one. We've heard a lot. You heard yesterday David Eagleman, who was fantastic, talking about neuroscience, talking about the way that the brain functions, the fact that it sets off a lightning storm of activity in the brain, every decision that you make. Julie Shah, professor of artificial intelligence at MIT, and her team have been working on something called linear temporal logic. Linear temporal logic is the ability not for artificial intelligence, but artificial intuition. It's what is the next best action. And the best example we've got of that is the work that a British company, now owned by Google, called DeepMind have done with learning Go. So I'm sure that you will have heard from this community about what Go and the work that DeepMind have done. But basically, they built a machine that built the world champion at Go. The thing about Go is that there are more potential moves in Go than there are atoms in the universe. In fact, that's not correct. But come and talk to me afterwards about why that's not correct. I was out by a massive factor. But you can't crunch it. You can't number crunch it. So linear temporal logic is a way for the system to learn how to play itself. And that's what they did. So after they built, which I think took 80 months to build the system that beat the world champion, they then started again with AlphaGo 0, which started with nothing except the rules, and then it played itself millions of times. It took 2 weeks to beat the system that they built using the way that humans play. And we are still incredibly stupid when it comes to building and growing our business. We make the same mistakes time after time after time. So today, next year, 2020, is the opportunity to change that. This is a prediction for next year which is already blown out of the water because we had United Nations on the stage yesterday with Daniel. When I talked right at the beginning of the day yesterday, I talked about the impact that automation and AI was going to have on society. And Daniel talked about that yesterday, about saving lives. The United Nations, the World Economic Forum, These are organizations that weren't even aware of automation 2 or 3 years ago. Now they are, and they're interested in the impact it's going to have. And in fact, Craig in a minute is going to talk about this as well. The impact that automation is going to have on societies, on governments, on transnational organizations, because it is fundamental in the way that we move into and beyond that fourth industrial revolution. If you look at all of the analyst reports, the Gartner Magic Quadrant, the Forrester Wave, the Nelson Hall Peak, the NEAT, the Everest Group NEAT, they're all called different things, the HFS Top 10. They rank all of the vendors. Now, because we've built up very good relationships with these organizations, and a lot of it is luck, being at the right place at the right time, we've come out top in all of them, which is a great credit to our product teams and to our development teams, and to our partners who are helping us. So I predict for next year that the challenger organizations, the WorkFusions, the AmpWorks, and so on and so forth, those type of organizations will get acquired by organizations that are looking to move into RPA. So our competitors, other than Automation Anywhere and Blue Prism, are going to change. It will be the large organizations. Think about it, SAP acquired a French RPA business called Contexta, and they're now producing a product called iRPA, so Intelligent RPA. And the service providers, the people who are in the room, in the Bellagio ballroom, that are the smaller, more agile, born to do RPA implementations, I think they're going to get acquired as well. Symphony, which I mentioned, good example, got acquired by a contact center operation. Contact center operations, Sykes, did a really phenomenal job buying a very focused organization. Accenture, a couple of years ago, bought basically the first organization that was born to do this, called Gen 4. So we'll continue to see this consolidation in the market. And that's it for my predictions for this year. One thing I mentioned before is that I spend more of my time listening than I do talking. So very deliberately, that is my email address. So if you have any questions, if you want to learn more about the direction of travel on the market, then please do get in touch. And I will answer, or I'll point you to the people who really know the answer, be that inside UiPath or externally. But thank you very much indeed.